Hello children, I am Naresh Mathur. Today we are going to discuss chapter number 2, polynomials. It is also one of the important chapter of the syllabus. Now see, what is it? Polynomial is generally an algebraic expression. Now if we are talking about a polynomial in one variable, that is x of degree n, then the general form of an polynomial is an x tends to power n plus an minus 1 x tends to power n minus 1 up to a2 x square plus a1 x plus a0, where a0, a1, a2 and up to an are called as coefficients. These are the constant numbers. Of course, an is not equals to 0, it can't be a 0. Now let's take an example. Suppose we have a number x cube minus 2x square plus 4. Now see this polynomial. If we see in the context of number of terms, we can say here we have three different terms, that is x cube, minus 2x square and 4. So according to number of terms, it is a trinomial. And if we are talking about degree, the highest power of, then we can say it is a cubic polynomial. We'll discuss it further also. Now the basic necessary condition for a polynomial is the powers or the exponent must be in whole numbers. These numbers must be whole number. It can't be negative, it can't be in fraction. So the basic condition or the necessary condition for a polynomial is the powers must be a whole number. Alright. Now if we are talking about the coefficients, these are the constant numbers. Let's say if we are talking about x cube, the coefficient of x cube is here 1 because no other number is here. And what will be the coefficient of x square? Minus 2. Minus 2 is the coefficient of x square. Now if I ask what is the coefficient of x here, so the answer will be 0 because no term with the x we are having in the given polynomial, and 4 is already a constant number. So this is the basic concept of the coefficients and terms. Now see the classification of the polynomials. If we talk about the number of variables in a polynomial, let's say if we are talking about a polynomial in one variable, which we are going to deal with the whole chapter, that is the polynomial in one variable. Let's say we have a 4x square minus 3x plus 7 or y square minus 2. These are the polynomials with one variable. A polynomial can have two or more variables also. Let's say 3x cube minus 7xy plus 8, or these are the other examples. We can have two or more variables in a polynomial also. Now if we are talking about the degree, based on degree, so we have another classification. Let's say constant polynomial with degree 0. It means any constant number is called as a constant polynomial. 8 and minus 2 by 3 are the examples. Linear polynomial, x plus 8, 3 by 4, x minus 6. Quadratic polynomial, it means degree 2. The degree is depending on the highest power of the polynomial. So here we have 3x square minus 2x plus 7. So we can see the highest power of the x in the given equation is 2. This is called as a quadratic polynomial and degree is 2. Similarly, in 5x cube is a cubic polynomial. 2y cube minus y plus 4, again a cubic polynomial, as we are having 3 as highest exponent of the polynomial. Now if you are talking about based on the number of terms, the classification of polynomials are as, if we are having only single term, let's say 6 or 4x cube minus 5a square b, these are the monomials. These terms are called as a monomials. If we are having two terms in a polynomial, let's say 6x plus 2, then we can say these are polynomials. Similarly, for three terms we can say trinomials, and for many terms we use a general word, that is polynomials. Let me introduce you with the chapter. What are the basic concepts we are going to use in this chapter? In the polynomial p of x, the highest exponent of x is called the degree of polynomial p of x, as we discussed earlier. Polynomials of degree 1, 2 and 3 are called linear, quadratic and cubic polynomials. The general form of a linear polynomial is ax plus b. The general form of a quadratic polynomial is ax square plus bx plus c, and a general form of a cubic polynomial is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, where a can't be 0. A will not be 0 in any of the situation, because if we put a equals to 0, then the polynomial will not be a quadratic in the quadratic polynomial or in the cubic polynomial. If I put a equals to 0, then this whole term will become 0, and this polynomial will not be a cubic polynomial because we will not have any term of x cube. Alright. A constant polynomial is free from a variable. Let's say any number, any constant number, let's say 0, 7, 8 and so on are called a constant polynomial, where 0 has a special condition. 0 is called as a zero polynomial. Now the degree of a constant polynomial is always 0, because the number always with a degree 0. Let's say if I put a x tends to power 0 is always equals to 1. Alright. Now, but the degree of a zero polynomial doesn't exist, or we can say the degree of the zero polynomial not defined yet actually. Alright. Now in the polynomial 3x square minus 4x plus 7, we can say the expressions 3x square minus 4x and plus 7, these are called as a terms of the polynomial. If a polynomial consists of only one variable, then the polynomial is called polynomial in one variable. For an example, 3x square minus 4x plus 7, this is the example of polynomial in one variable. If a polynomial consisting one term, two term and three term, it is called as monomial, binomial and trinomial respectively. A real number k is a zero of polynomial p of x if p of k equals to 0. Now what is the meaning of 0? Zeros are the number at which the value of whole polynomial becomes 0, because let's take an example. If I am saying 2x minus 1, so 2x minus 1 is a polynomial, and if we equate it with 0, 2x minus 1 equals to 0, we will get the value of x equals to half. Alright. Now if I put x equals to half in 2x minus 1, then the whole equation, whole polynomial will become 0. So x equals to half, or half will be a 0 of the given polynomial. Now every linear polynomial in one variable has a unique 0. Every linear polynomial has a single 0. A real quadratic polynomial has 2 zeros, and a cubic polynomial has 3 zeros. It means a polynomial has the number of zeros as it has a degree. Cubic polynomial has degree 3, so it has 3 zeros. Quadratic polynomial has degree as 2, so it will have a 2 zeros. You can remember in this way. Alright. Now a non-zero constant polynomial has no 0, but every real number is a 0 of the zero polynomial. For an example, let's say if I am writing a 4, there will be no 0 for the number 4 as it is a constant polynomial, but all the real number is a 0 of zero polynomial. If I write a 0, then every real number will be a 0. 4 is also a 0 of this zero polynomial. Right. Now the polynomial equation of the polynomial p of x is given by p of x equals to 0. Now there is a very slight difference between a polynomial and an equation. If I write 2x minus 1, it is a polynomial. If I write 2x minus 1 equals to 0, then it becomes a equation. Now these are some important topics of this chapter. Remainder theorem. Remainder theorem says if p of x is a polynomial of degree greater than or equals to 1 and p of x is divided by a linear polynomial, that is x minus a, then the remainder is p of a. What does it mean? We'll see it with an example in the next slide. Now we have a dividend equals to divisor into quotient plus remainder. This is a basic division algorithm. Now if we are talking about a polynomial, so obviously dividend, divisor, quotient, remainder will be in the form of polynomial. So we can write it in the form of p of x equals to g of x into q of x plus r of x, where p of x is dividend, g of x is divisor, q of x is quotient, and r of x is remainder. Where r of x, the degree of remainder is always less than degree of divisor. Alright, but what about if remainder is 0? Then we can say the divisor will become the factor of the given polynomial. This is the factor theorem. Factor theorem says if x minus a is a factor of p of x, then p of a equals to 0. Let's see with an example, remainder theorem. Suppose we are given a equation, a polynomial x cube minus 4x square minus 7x plus 10. Now we need to divide it by x minus 2. Suppose we are given an equation, or we need to find what should be the remainder of this polynomial if we divide it by x minus 2. Now the only possible way we have is going with the long division. Now we need to divide the x cube minus 4x square minus 7x plus 10 by the x minus 2, and we need to do the long division. But remainder theorem gives us a privilege to find the remainder directly. How? See, if we need to find remainder by dividing x minus 2, we can just equate x minus 2 equals to 0. So what we get? X equals to 2. Now you just need to put x equals to 2 in the whole equation and we'll get the remainder. Isn't it interesting? Now we have x cube minus 4x square minus 7x plus 10. Just put x equals to 2 and get your answer. Now you need to cross check it. Just divide it and do a long division and get your answer. Cross check. Okay. Similarly, a factor theorem. We have an example that says we need to determine whether x minus 3 is a factor of the given polynomial or not. What we need to do? Just we are doing the same steps as we did in the remainder theorem, but the difference in the factor theorem, we get 0 as a remainder. This is the necessary condition. If we are getting 0 as a remainder, we can say the divisor is a factor of the given polynomial. Let's see, if we need to divide it x minus 3, sorry, we need to divide x minus p of x by x minus 3, so we just put x equals to 3. Alright, just put the value of x in the given polynomial and we get 0 as remainder. 2 3 cube minus 5 3 square minus 3 minus 6, and at last we get 0. If we are getting 0, we can say yes if x minus a is a factor of the given polynomial, or we can say if p of 3 equals to 0. If p of 3 equals to 0, then we can say x minus 3 is a factor of p. So this is the remainder theorem and factor theorem. Now you need to learn the very important algebraic identities. Just learn these identities. Just learn it by writing it 3 or 5 times, whatever suitable to you. Just read it and write it. Just note it. Alright, it will be very helpful for you. So this is all about this chapter which we are going to deal with. So I hope you understand all whatever we have discussed here. Just learn and revise all the concepts. Thank you for listening.